That was easy, wasn't it? Although I'm a bit traumatized. If you don't know what that is, I advise you to watch the first video of this series about preparing a data visualization project, because today is all about the structure. Hi, welcome to Chartbites. My name is Salome and I'm here to show you that the visualization design process is much simpler when you break it into chunks. Today we are looking at my favorite part of designing visualizations, the structuring phase. In the first video, we talked about having an idea, developing said idea, and collecting and analyzing the data. In this video, we are looking at how we can find inspiration, organize our main plot points, and sketch to understand where our visualization is going. As you may remember, I am using this visualization project as a method for self-reflection. A couple of years ago, I decided to change how I consumed and used my clothes because I thought I had too many, which I do. And now I want to see if that attempt at a more sustainable approach to dressing myself has impacted my wardrobe. So let's start in the beginning, getting inspired. When looking for inspiration, we tend to fall on two traps: trying to emulate the work of those we admire, or go down a Pinterest, Behance, or Instagram rabbit hole. There is nothing wrong with keeping an eye on what your favorite visualizers are doing. On the contrary, but the line between inspiration and imitation is very tenuous, so be mindful. I always prefer to take inspiration from various sources: art, photography, nature, anything really. And I like a good mood board, so we'll do just that. For this, I use Milanote, but you can use anything: Illustrator, Word, your walls, whatever is easiest for you. The search usually starts with a visual trigger. For example, as soon as I had the idea for the project, I had a vision of using only black, beige, and white and muting all other colors, because that's how I dress, and I wanted to convey it in my visualization. So that's the visual cue that will connect the various elements in my mood board. But in this project, I have another major inspiration. Recently, I came across Hilma af Klint. She was a Swedish abstract painter from the transition between the 19th and the 20th century. Klint has a series of monochromatic and geometric paintings that are gorgeous and already look like visualizations. So I'll put them right at the beginning of my mood board. Next, I will go across the internet and my books, searching for images that speak to me and help me outline my project's general vibe. This gets easier as you become more experienced and build up your visual literacy. And of course, there will be always things that inspire you. For me, that is antique diagrams of flowers, heads, or hands. I don't know why, but I love them. After I'm happy with my collection of images, I like to let it marinate and come back to it later to see if I still enjoy it or if I need anything else. And I do this not only in this stage, but throughout the design process. So let's leave this and jump to the next step. At the end of the last video, we saw that my data show that I own 135 pieces of clothing, and we looked at the main conclusions without visualizing anything. We must now understand which of those conclusions have the most exciting perspective and story behind it. In other words, we are looking for the news value of this visualization. I don't know if this is pessimistic, but my main takeaway is that although I'm trying and have bought way fewer clothes in 2020 and 2021, I still have too many. So I think we should go with the "you have a lot of room to grow" narrative and maybe add a catchy title like "Are you sure you have nothing to wear?" That being said, I should take advantage of the 135 because it is quite a large number and it will have a big visual impact. I also think it makes sense to use the "how much I wear it" as my central ruler, if you will. This will help me understand how many of my clothes I actually wear and, consequently, need. But I also think it's important to highlight how many of my clothes are hand-me-downs, gifted, made, vintage, and altered because those are having a second, third, or fourth chance with me. So let's put the story we've outlined into writing. This way you can sketch visual solutions for each of the points. In this step, I always like to have a massive sheet of paper to bridge my story and my sketches. But to make things easier for you to see, just like I did with the mind map in the first video, I'll use my iPad instead. So that's my story. Mind that this can change while sketching or during the execution phase, depending on how the project progresses. Although I'm streamlining the design process to teach you the basics, we often have to go back and make changes to look for alternatives. Never believe that things are as smooth as they appear to be on the internet. And besides, there is a huge chance your design process will be different from project to project. The sketching phase is my favorite of all the visualization design stages. You have all the possibilities ahead of you while things are starting to form at the same time. People often like to overlook sketching and go straight to design or code, but it has been proven that sketching and doodling unleashes your creativity and can unlock solutions software doesn't automatically provide. Nadieh Bremer, who we all love, is an avid advocate of sketching before coding, and she has noted that not only does sketching helps to get a sense of what a visualization might look like, but it also helps to flush out a stubborn idea. However, combining sketching by hand with code or software might be effective if you have a large dataset. While in shorter datasets you can perceive the shapes the data can take, with more extensive spreadsheets it gets increasingly difficult to predict that. So, even in those cases, it can be beneficial to grab pen and paper and roughly sketch your expected outcomes. Again, I will grab my iPad and start sketching beside my narrative. Here it is always helpful to look to your mood board again to see if there are any shapes or visual structures that will translate well into your project. I was very inspired by Hilma Hafklein's circular shapes, so I might go there and work with bubbles and dots, for example. Or it could also be a good idea to use pictograms like hangers or the shape of the clothes to represent each category. Sketching will help me see if these initial ideas have potential. In this stage, we just want to roughly get our ideas on the paper. People always seem to think that we must draw well to sketch, but that's not true. We just need to do some lines and dots to figure out our main shapes and how you intend to present our data. I also like to add notes, thoughts, or questions that might help me get the ball rolling. While sketching, I decided to do an additional chart that shows how many clothing items I got per year. That way I can sense if the pieces I chose to buy were good additions to my wardrobe. I also confirmed that the best format for this visualization would be a poster beside my closet. That way I can use this to hold myself accountable. Now that I have my sketch and know what direction I want to take, it's safe to enter the next phase of the visualization design process. In the following video, we will tackle the execution, which is most people's favorite part because that's when charts really start coming to life. So we'll begin by prototyping, then we'll design the final visualization, test it, and make any changes needed. As in the first video, I don't have references, but a list of resources that can be helpful to structuring and sketching a data story. If you choose to do this with me, don't forget to share your progress, and of course, please consider filling the questionnaire in the description with your thoughts about these videos. I will be back with more DataVis practice advice. This is Chartbites. See you next time. Shame. And I don't know. But I